This is my Hollywood entertainment voice here. Now, by Hollywood standards, you kind of got a late start as far as screen acting goes. Now, with your first credited role around 30 years old, we read that as a child you aspired to be a veterinarian and a movie star, kind of your own personal dog day afternoon. What inspired you to start actively pursuing acting as a career, and what was that journey like, turning an ambition into reality?
Well, I'd done a little, as you saw, like BJ and the Bear. I had done the pilot of that and a couple of things, but really, okay, I'm going to tell you a sappy story a little bit, but I was working for a television show called Real People. I don't know if you remember that show, but Sarah Purcell, Fred Willard, comedian Byron Allen, who's now a gazillionaire running his own network. I mean, he's, just sweet as could be, and knew his mother well. She was a publicist at NBC. Anyway, that's a little bit of a sidebar, but that's where I was working for Real People. And it was 1984, and the Olympics were or 1983 actually. Olympics were coming to LA in 1984. And so there was a man named Bud Greenspan who produced documentaries, and they had a big luncheon for him at 20th Century Fox. And we, for some reason, were covering it, and we had our crew there, and they started showing clips from some of his previous documentaries. And one of them was about a man from Africa. I wish I knew the country. I don't remember. And probably 1980 Olympics, who was everyone's pick to win the long distance running gold medal. He had trained, they followed him during training. Everybody thought he was going to get the gold. And he had the unbelievable thing happen. They had barely started the race, and he pulled, I think, his Achilles tendons in his leg and could barely walk. But he did not quit the race. Oh, and wow. He walked that 26 miles. He didn't come into the stadium for, a day and a half. 2 days later, he walks into the stadium limping, barely making it. By then there's, everybody's crying and cheering. He got a standing ovation in the Coliseum.
Perhaps the words of John Stephen Akhwari epitomize all that is right in the human spirit. When asked why he did not quit, he said simply, "My country did not send me 5,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 5,000 miles to finish the race."
And I was not alone. We were all moved to tears. But I realized that I had started out with this dream. And because I wasn't getting cast in things, I would pick up other jobs, and then I would get interested in those jobs. I was celebrity coordinator for Jimmy Carter. I did all these incredible, I don't regret any of my experiences, but I started out to be, an actor. And I thought, maybe that's me. Maybe I'm the long distance runner. Maybe I'm the turtle that beats the hare. It's not that it's beating anyone, but I started crying, and I had to leave the luncheon. I went over to the crew, the DP, and I said, "Can you take it from here? I've got to get back to the office." I cried all the way back to the office. I cried in the office till I had to go home. My assistant said, "Is there anything I can do?" And I said, no, I've got to go. And I went home, and I called my best friend at the time, Karen Grassley. You might recognize her name. She was the mom on Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
And I heard myself say, "Karen," and miraculously she answered the phone. First of all, she was a pretty busy lady. And I said, "Karen, I can't not act anymore." It just came out of me. And she said, "Okay, I've been waiting for this. It's about time." And she said, "You need to get to class, a serious class. You need to be serious, dedicated, blah, 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 blah." She read me the riot act. And then coincidentally, the next day I was having lunch with a character actor named Alan Garfield. He also was born with Alan Gurwitz. You probably know his wonderful work. I told him, I said, I want to be an actress. I'm really going to go back to acting. And that's what I've always wanted to do. And he said, "Oh, well, what actor do you want to model your career after?" And I said, "I don't want to say." And he said, "Well, write it down." I said, "I don't want to write it down." He said, "Write down the initials." So I wrote down MS.
I knew you were going to say Meryl Streep.
Yeah, but he says, Oh, Maureen Stapleton, good choice. Character actor, right? I mean, a leading lady character actress, but still. And I was like, no, not Maureen Stapleton in my mind. But anyway, he invited me to his acting class. I went, and that happened to be the week that Tennessee Williams died. And the teacher was friends with Tennessee Williams and had worked with him. And at the end of class, not only did he do great critiques, but at the end of class, he gave a eulogy for Tennessee Williams. And then, said, I hope you're enjoying your martinis wherever you are. Tennessee Williams. And then he walked from the classroom, and I said, oh my God, that's my teacher. Because he, first of all, being from the South, Tennessee Williams, but also he understood theater. That was a great eulogy and a great exit, and I said, that's my guy. And so I was fortunate enough to be able to get into one of his classes, and it was a great class. Tom Selleck, Patrick Swayze, Tony Danza, Grant Kramer, I mean, all these really good. This was 1980, 83. That's when it was. And then I stayed in class for a couple more years. But so that was what it was that long distance runner. I need to look up that guy and find out who he is and what he's doing. Someday maybe I could thank him, because his story is truly what inspired me to. And now at my age, after all these years, I say, oh, well, I really was long distance runner. And, I believe in that. Slow and steady wins the race.
Mhm.
Yes, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's what they say in construction.
Oh, I like
And
that.
and you say that it's not about beating anybody, but you definitely beat the odds, because in most cases, as especially with actresses, you have to kind of like make the industry fall in love with you while you are the attractive age for them, and then you can be grandmothered in, I guess, into working for a long term. But to come into it at like the age of 30 and still make a name for yourself to where you have all these credits is very impressive.
Well, thank you. Well, and actually, I don't know the credit list exactly, but really, I didn't go to his class till I was 33. I mean, I had worked a little, like you say, but that's when I got serious. And I also began, because of him. He was a very powerful man, and he really got me to accept myself as a character actress. Now it's my great honor, but back then, you think, I don't know, that not that you'll be considered ugly, but unfortunately, in our culture, looks do matter more than they should, really. And so it took a while for me to get that.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.